So if we're looking at what we did on Friday and what we're doing today, side by side, this is what it would look like, okay? On the top here is the new stuff. This is what we're doing today. We're going from a very small fraction, small pieces over here. You can add this in your notes if you want to, so that you have it to help you out for tonight. Small pieces to bigger pieces. And when I'm saying pieces, what am I talking about? What do I love to eat? Pizza. I shouldn't see anybody's heads down right now. So if I have 10 pieces of pizza and a pizza that's been divided up 30 times, that's 10 teeny tiny slices, right? But if I had another pizza, same size, only split up into 3 pieces, what do I want? They're actually exactly the same. Which one's simpler? Eating 10 slices or eating 1? Eating 1. Okay? So in this top one, the fractions are all equivalent. 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. Is equivalent to what? 3/9. It's equivalent to 4/12, which is equivalent to 5/15. Get it? Okay? The unit fractions, the numerator and the denominator are getting smaller, the numbers, not the fractions, just the numbers themselves. The numerators and the denominators are getting smaller, but the unit fraction is getting bigger. Remember, in fraction world, it's a little backwards. Even though the numbers are smaller, the pieces are bigger. Because in regular world, in regular number world, a 3 is always going to be smaller than a 5. Yeah? Yeah. Well, in fraction world, that is upside down. A 1/3 is actually bigger than a 1/5. So you got to think it's kind of backwards. It's like Twilight Zone kind of stuff, okay? Now, down here, we have our big pieces of pizza. Whoa. We have our big pieces over here, right? We have our big pieces. As we move from, what happened here? As we move from the big pieces to the smaller pieces, what's going on in our numerator? It's increasing, right? And our denominator is increasing. But just because those numbers are getting bigger, what's happening to the pieces of pizza? They're shrinking. They're getting smaller. They're taking my Costco pizza and they're cutting it into smaller pieces. Right? I want the big pieces. So that's the difference between what we did on Friday. This was on Friday. And this is today. So on Friday, we were multiplying. Moving from left to right, we were multiplying. Moving from right to left, what are we doing? Dividing. Here are 2 more rows from the multiplication table. Move together, like they cut out 5, 6, 7. They just put 4 and 8 close to each other. Do you see how the magic of math, they did that for you? Wasn't that nice? So remember, when you're going from left to right, what operation are you doing? Multiplying. Multiplication. Okay, when you're going from right to left, you're dividing. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. When your numbers are getting bigger, you're multiplying. Many numbers are happening, many pieces. When you're going from many pieces to less pieces, you're dividing. Those are the 2 things that I want you to remember from today. Okay? So let's complete each equation. 4 times, we're trying to find an equivalent fraction. So 4 times We can do whatever we want on these because whatever we do to the top, we have to do to the bottom. So, pick a number, any number. Amanda, pick a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Any number. 8. I like 8. 4 times 8. 8 times 8. What is our equivalent fraction going to be? 32 64ths. Those are teeny tiny pieces, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather eat 4/8. Thank you. Simpler. Right? Pick a number, Tanner.
9.
Really?
5.
5? Okay, 5. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Equals 20 40ths. Are 40ths bigger or smaller than eighths? Smaller. Teeny tiny, teeny tiny. Now, we're going to go from that 20 40ths. We're going to go from that 20 40ths over here and go, we want bigger pieces. So we're going to divide those 40ths into bigger pieces. What are we going to divide by, Anthony? Give me any number that I can divide 20 and 40 equally. 4. Sounds good. 4. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So 5/10 is equivalent to 20 40ths. Sloan, give me a number that will go evenly into 36 and 72. It has to be the same number. You can go into both of them. 9 sounds good. 36 divided by 9 and 72 divided by 9, 4/8. So 4/8 equals 36 70-seconds. 70 seconds? Doesn't sound right, but it's right. Mace, give me another number that goes into 12 and 24. How about 3? Because I think, hold on. Okay, so we might want to follow the directions. I think these are all, see, we start off up here equivalent to 4/12, 4/8. So 16, 17, 18, and 19 have to equal 4/8. Oh, so look at here. If I do 4 times 3, 8 times 3 is 12 24ths. See how I go from here to here. 4 times, let's say 6. 4 times 6, 8 times 6 is 24 48. Just go with me really fast here, okay? Because we didn't follow directions. Now, these have to, 16, 17, 18, and 19 have to equal 4/8. So if we're using the number chart, it's very simple. Look at 20 and go to 4/8. How many did we divide by? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. 20 divided by 5. I went from 1, 2, 3, 4. We got to count this here. 4. You see what I did there? 8. We want it to be 4/8. And you know what I would do is I would do this. How do I get from 12? What do I have to divide 12 by to get 4? 3. So whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. We're close. Okay, so 36, if I want to get 4/8, what do I have to divide 36 by? 9. What do I have to divide 24 by to get 4? 6. So we need to complete each chain of equivalent fractions. The numbers on number 20 are getting bigger. So what am I doing? Multiplying. Sorry, I can't see it. It's really small. So the numbers here are getting bigger. So I'm multiplying. How do I get from 2 to 4? I multiply by what? 2. So whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So what's 1 times 2? 2. What's 2 times 2?
4.
There's your equivalent fraction chain. All of these numbers are going from left to right are getting bigger. So when the numbers are getting bigger on the bottom, the denominator's increasing, you're talking about many pieces. When we talk about many pieces, we're talking about multiplying. So how do I get from 3 to 6? What do I multiply by? 2. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. But we don't know what the top is. Well, let's do 1. Times 2. Times 2. I think that's what they're trying to show you. Times 2. Times 2. Times 2. Those are the same. What if I wanted to do here? What if I wanted to do 3 2s? Could I do that? Could I do that? Yes. Times 2 would be 6 fourths. Times 2 would be 12 eighths. Improper, but you could still do it. Improper, but you could still do it. Times 2, times 2. All right, so we're going to practice simplifying. Simplifying means you're looking for the biggest pizza. Think of it that way. You don't want it to be messy. You don't want it to be complicated. You don't want to have to eat 5/12 of a pizza when you can eat 1/3. It'd be huge, but it's simpler, right? So you need to think about the biggest number that will go into both of these evenly to get a simpler form, all right? So what number, if 4 doesn't go into 10, so what is going to be the biggest number at 6 and 8? What's the biggest number that can go into both of those evenly? 2. 6 divided by 2, 8 divided by 2. 3 fourths. And at 3 fourths, nothing else, I can't find a number that's going to go into both of those evenly. So that is the simplest form. Let's look at some of these harder ones, like 15 40ths. 5. Is that the biggest one, do you think? Yes. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 40 divided by 5 is nothing goes into both of those. I can't divide it by 8 by 3, so we're done. It's simplifying. It's the same thing. It's the same word. It's the same word. Making it, you're reducing the amount of pieces. Yes, you're simplifying it. You're making it simpler. Have you learned in math there's 852 ways to say one thing? Wow. Right? Am I right? It's crazy. So let's look at 10 and 12. What's the biggest number that can go into both of those? 2. 2. 5. 6. Can 5 go into itself? Yeah, but can it go into 6? No. So it's the simplest. It can't go any farther. 8 and 12. Well, 2 can go in there, but 3 can't. Can 4 go into both of them? Can 5? No. 6 can go into 12, but not 8. So I think 4 is our best option. Let's try it. 8 divided by 4, 12 divided by 4 is 2 thirds. Sounds like the simplest piece to me. I want you to do 29, 30, 31 on your own and see if you can finish this page out, and we'll check it in just a second.